Hey guys, it's Mrs. C. Sorry I can't be there with you today, but don't worry, I am with you. I'm right here. So, what I want to do with you first, this is going to be a pencast on factoring trinomials. However, I want to go back to our roots of the sum product game and have you just warm up with these three problems. So go ahead and pause me and find the sum product of these three different problems. So there's a problem, let's just identify it here so you can see what the three problems are. There's problem number 1, problem number 2, and problem number 3. So go ahead and find the sum product. Don't like green very much. Go ahead and find the sum product of, there we go, of these three sets, and then come on back to me. So pause, do it yourself, and then come back. All right, you're back, so let's go ahead. Sum product, just to recall for anybody who's watching this who's never seen it before, I want to know what two numbers would give me a sum of 3 and a product of a negative 10, the same two numbers. So for most of us, this is a review. So we go to the product first because the choices are significantly less to find a product of a 10 versus a sum of a 3. So give me numbers that give you the product of a 10. And since we've all done this before, let's just do it quickly. How about a 2 and a 5? I'm going to write 2 and 5, but I have to worry about my signs, right? Because 2 times 5 is 10, and I need a negative 10. So in order to get a sum of a 3, what would we have to do with the numbers 2 and 5? We'd have to subtract them, exactly. So if we subtract them, and since when we find the difference, we always take the sign of the higher number, who would have to be, in this case over here, I need a sum of a positive. That means when I subtract, I'm going to get the sign of the higher number being positive, this one being negative. So do that real quick. Positive 5 and a negative 2, subtract, you get 3, sign of the higher number, positive. So the answer to the question is the two numbers that give you a sum of 3 and a product of negative 10 are, drum roll please, negative 2, positive 5, or yes, positive 5, negative 2. Going on to the next one a little quicker now, right? Product of a 70. Oh, 7 and 10 just pops into my head. What about my signs? Are my signs good? Well, for the product, they're good. 7 times 10 is 70, but 7 plus 10 is 17, not negative 17. So what would the signs have to be a negative 17? You're right. They'd both have to be negative. When the signs are the same, I always add. That's a good thing, because I'd have to add 7 and 10 to get 17. Otherwise, if I subtracted, I would get 3. So they would have to both be negative, so I would keep the sign. Moving on to the last one, product of a negative 42. And more importantly, normally we don't look here, but you see how that's a 1? Whenever your sum is a 1, that means your numbers for your product and your sum are consecutive. We talked about this before in class. When you have a sum in the sum product game of a 1, your numbers are consecutive, meaning in a row. So what two numbers in a row give you the product of a 42? Hopefully you've been studying your multiplication facts, 6 and 7. And then when we subtract them, how would we get a negative 1? 7 would have to be negative. And that's our final answer there. Go back up and we'll box that one too. So that's sum product. In a nutshell, we've done it before. There's another pencast on the YouTube channel on sum product all by itself. But now we're going to extend this. And let me see just how much I can erase here. Now you have the answers, hopefully, or you can always go back because I'm about to lose my answers. And it won't take me long. I'm being extremely lazy. You know what? Let's just keep that one and keep that, and maybe get rid of this excess here. Oh, so pretty. Oh, there went my 10. A negative 0. You can't leave that. There's no such thing. I'm coming back. I'm almost there, guys. Woo! Okay, this was where we started, right? Like I rewound the whole thing. what I'm going to do is pick a different color. Many of you have seen this before, and this is just a reminder. But for those of you who haven't seen it, pay close attention. I'm going to get rid of this because this isn't technically the sum product game anymore. I'm going to change things up. I am going to add some things that I never showed you before. Here it goes. Okay, now I've turned that little sum product game into, what are these? These are quadratic, how many terms? 3, so quadratic trinomials. And what we do in algebra oftentimes is we're asked to factor quadratic trinomials. They want us to be able to break them up into the two quantities, normally binomials, that multiply together in that box method or FOIL that we've used before. They want to know what two binomials would give you this trinomial. And all that wording is a lot more complicated than the actual process. So let me go ahead and show you. Do you remember the answer to this sum product question? Go back to the other color that I used before. Do you remember what we said the sum product was? We said that the sum product for 3 and a negative 10 was a 2 and a 5. And in fact, I believe we said that it was a negative 2, positive 5. So I want you to watch something. And I want to get a different color just for effect here. How about a black? Negative 2, positive 5. That's the two answers, right? But I spaced them out a little bit more because I'm going to throw some extra stuff. Just like I threw this purple here. These purple x's and x squareds. Watch what I'm going to do. So the final answer, the quantity of x minus 2, x plus 5, is the actual factored form of the trinomial x squared plus 3x minus 10. And let's go a little step further. Let's do this one. Let's put these purple ones in first because I already have them. And then do you remember what the sum product was for a negative 17 and a positive 70? I remember what it was. I'm trying to see if you remember what it was. Okay, it was a 7, right? And a 10, or a 10 and a 7. It doesn't matter. And if you recall, they were both negative. The actual factored form of the trinomial x squared minus 17x plus 70 is the quantity of x minus 7 times x minus 10. And lastly, I'll do it all in black. Watch how I put the x's first. I go ahead and I put the 6 and the 7, if you recall, was the sum product. And also, it was a negative 7 and a positive 6. So that's the final answer there. All right, I'm going to go to another page. And I'm going to have you do another one. Okay. Here it is, guys. Here's the next problem. Only notice I'm not giving it to you in sum product form. I'm giving it to you into a quadratic trinomial. So I want you to look and search for the sum product numbers. Here's the sum number. Here's the product number. So it's the same game, but just with letters involved. So think for me, what are the two numbers that will give me that product of a 24 and the sum of a negative 5? Now, you did this before. Think about it. A product of negative 24. So I can think of a 6 and a 4, a 12 and a 2, an 8 and a 3, a 1 and a 24. Which of those sounds like you could put them together to be a 5? You're right. It's going to be an 8, I think, and a 3. And in fact, where would the sign be? Who would be negative? Negative 8, and it would be a positive 3. Now, my answer is almost complete, except don't forget all the extra stuff I just hit you with, right? The x's in the front. Now, the reason we put the x's in the front is because we're not being asked to do a sum product game here. We're being asked to break the trinomial x squared minus 5x minus 24 into the product, that means multiply them, of two binomials. So here's binomial number 1, here's binomial number 2. If we use the box method or FOIL method to multiply these, we would wind up with x squared minus 5x minus 24. Here, I will prove it to you. I'll do a little box because I don't have a lot of room. I'll take my answer, which was x minus 8, x plus 3, and I'll do a quick box method to show you. X times x is x squared. X times negative 8 is negative 8x. Then we've got this is 3x, and this is a negative 24. We combine like terms, that's these guys, and there's your sum, negative 8 and a positive 3. That gives you a negative 5x. And then this x squared term and the constant term of a negative 24, as always, we put it in descending order, bring the combined terms down, and look what you get. You get that product matches the original question, because factoring is the opposite of multiplying, and that's what we just did. The first thing I taught you was box method. That was multiplying two binomials together. Now I'm teaching you how to factor, which is to break them up into their factors. Think about it. What did we teach you first, multiplying or dividing? Multiplying. So we taught you that 8 times 3 was 24. Then we started asking you, well, what's 24 divided by 8? Well, 24 divided by 8 is 3. It's the reverse, and that's what we're doing. We're just factoring. Now, I've got practice for you. So let me bring to you some nice practice. Let me find it. I already have it here ready to go. I think this is it. Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of practice right there. All right, let me move it up. And there's where I want you to spend a little bit of time. Now, on the next page, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post the actual answers, but I'm not going to do that until the end of the pencast, and I hope I remember to do that. Now, your check step can always be, guys, to just simply do the box method, because the box method will always check whether you're correct, but you know, it's a lot of work. I want you to focus on column 1 and column 2, and if you feel really sassy, go ahead and give column 3 a try. You're going to notice the back number is not a constant anymore. It's a quadratic itself. That's not going to change the procedure. The sum and the product, in this case that I'm pointing to, are still 5 and 6, but you're going to have to add a little something, something, and I think you can use the answer key to see what you're going to have to do there, or just journey through it on your own. But for now, I don't want you to worry about that. That's only if you're feeling crazy saucy. You may not be feeling crazy saucy sassy. You may want to stick to the 2 columns. So let's just pick one. Let's go for, which one do I like? I want to do 5. So 5 reads n squared plus 2n minus 15. And for sake of space, I cut off the directions. The directions read to factor completely as a product of 2 binomials. And so that really kind of spells out what I'm supposed to do here. Sum product. Sum product. I like to put my parentheses first. Then I'd like to put my numbers that give me the product of a negative 15. That's going to be, right off the top, I think of a 5 and a 3. Now, I need a positive 2. That means my 5 has to be positive, my 3 has to be negative, and then 5 times negative 3 gives me my negative 15 product. Don't forget the n's in the front. Can you believe it? That's the answer. I know you're thinking to yourself, no way, that can't be the answer. That's way too easy. Well, guys, it's not that easy. You did the sum product. You broke these 2 numbers into the sum and the product. You threw them down. You threw in some letters. And then, if you really want to go crazy, you could box method this and find that you're right back where you started. Just like if you factor 24, and you say, well, 24 factored is 8 and 3. If you multiply 8 and 3 back, you wind up with the question, which was 24. So, just saying, it's something you could do, but you can also go look at the answer key at the end of the pencast. All right, let me erase this. I'm going to do another one. Let me go to the other column and do one, and then you're on your own. You're going to do the rest. Let's try. I'm trying to look for one we've never done. I haven't seen us do this one before. T squared minus 15t plus 50. Okay, guys. Sum, product. Try it on your own. All right. Hopefully you tried it and you're just checking it out now. 50, I think 5 and 10. I also think 25 and 2, but I don't think that's going to give me 15. So I'm going to go with 5 and 10. And let me see. I have to have a negative 15. So I would have to have both signs negative to get an adding and keep the sign. And negative would give me the positive. I'm good. I just have to put the t's. Final answer. The quantity of t minus 5 times the quantity of t minus 10. Guys, you rock, you roll, and you're ready to go. So let me come over here. I'm just going to do what I said I was going to do. I am going to post the solutions, if I can find them. Where did I put the answers? Here they are. Oh boy, that's big. You want it that big? I want to at least see my blackboard in the background. All right, now don't look. Don't look. Cover the screen. Cover the screen. I don't want you to memorize all the answers. We could probably check to make sure I was right on the ones I did, except now I don't remember what I wrote, but here are the answers. Hopefully I did it right. I do recognize this one. There was that one. And then what was the other one that I picked? Oh gosh, I gotta go back and look. It's gonna bother me. It was 5. And I don't remember what I said, but, well, 5. There is no 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2 and a negative 15. 2 and a negative 15. 2 and a negative 15. 2 and a... Uh-oh. Is that this one? No, can't be that one. This one? That was an N. It was an N. I think these are in order of the little... You know how they do the puzzles and things? So now I don't know if I picked the right... Am I making you dizzy by doing this? I should read the directions. I don't have time to read directions. Well, if we look at this answer, this is the one I'm looking for, guys. And I know that the answer is going to be, let's say, it's got to be n plus 5 n minus 3. Went the wrong way. N plus 5 n minus 3. So here's the answer. Yeah. So, anyway, find your answer. Easy enough. That's what I'm showing it to you for. So, what I'm going to recommend is you go back, because I don't want you seeing it. Okay, there you go. Go back and do these problems. Check with the answer key. See that you find your answer. I'm sure you'll, be able to figure out how all of this fits into the grand scheme of things. I'm guessing we have, here it is, if I actually spend time to look, when you find the letter that corresponds, that's why it's out of order, then you put that letter down here, and it'll answer the mystery question that I cut off when I cropped the photo. So anyway, it should be an English sentence, and it should make some kind of sense, but not if you don't do the sassy, saucy ones. See how the answers are written? That's your little clue as to how to set them up. I'm done. You're on your own. Have an awesome time without me. I miss you already. See you on the flip side.